is Hall of Fame weekend. The Canadian Football Hall of Fame resides in Hamilton. All the busts of the great players in this great game through the years. And this week takes its show on the road to Edmonton. Dan Ferroni, Brian Fryer, Miles Gorell, Earl Winfield inducted as players. Don Loney, Jake Ireland as builders. It's the 50th anniversary of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. It's Hall of Fame weekend here in Edmonton Commonwealth Stadium. The Alouettes and the Eskimos ready to roll, and all eyes are on this young man.
Absolutely, Mike Riley. We know he's a warrior. He's proven that. He's got that stamped on his forehead. And folks, we're hoping that he's ready to play today. The doctors say he is, and the Eskimos are putting their playoff hopes on number 13.
Time to salute the hall and play ball. Here we go. Jamal Miles. Knocked out of bounds by Marco Bruyette, and out comes Mike Riley. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts, where custom advice comes standard. Was it good advice for Mike Riley, even though he was medically cleared to play yesterday? You heard the guys in the panel weigh in. We were here last week and saw what Mike Riley did after he was concussed, stayed in the game and threw a touchdown pass. Here he is a week later.
Eskimos have gone through the protocol. He's been cleared to play as of yesterday. I know the head coach, Kavis Reed, tussled with the decision. He's made it, and we're looking forward to watching this kid do his thing here at Commonwealth.
And the first play from scrimmage is flagged. Jump start here.
Offside. Montreal, number 21. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Mike Edom, free safety. He is prone to jump. And obviously they're coming after these Eskimos. Here's our starters to watch.
Yeah, Mike Riley, boy, you know the things you don't see there. He started off 14 games this season, but I can tell you, he's a threat on the ground, and there's his threats in the air. Both Stamps and Bowman, two of his go-to guys. Got to spread the field against Montreal today. Riley will look for those guys often.
Here they come. First pass is complete. Adarius Bowman hauls it in, and a big gainer down to the Montreal 42-yard line. First pass is complete from Mike Riley.
Yeah, exactly. They're spreading the field. They got Bowman up here right on the top. He's just going to run underneath. These two guys going to clear it off, and Bowman's on his way. This is easy pitch and catch it. Well, that ball's throwing the money. A lot of room up the middle of that football field for Darius Bowman, who brings a lot of toughness to that football team, and certainly experience they need with the absence of Kerry Coke.
Missed 25 straight games, 16 last year, 9 this year with knee injuries. Bowman has looked good, big part of their offense. Eskimos marching. Jamal Miles on the inside handoff and sweeps to the outside, and Miles has a first down. Jamal Miles has been primarily brought here as a kick returner. Star out of Arizona State gets a chance to touch the football here. There is another flag on the play. Looks like this play is going to be negated. Our referee today is Kim Murphy.
Achilles heel for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Illegal substitution. Edmonton. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Football team can't get out of the way of themselves, oftentimes penalized here early in the ball game, and negates a big play. Defensively for the Montreal Alouettes, the man in the middle there, Chip Cox, you're looking at probably the defensive player of the league right now. He's on fire. Mike Edom, a very young free safety, is aggressive, trying to get him involved early. First play of the game, he's caught for offside. And Gerald Brown, he's going to have his hands full of Fred Stamps. He says he's up to the task. These are the games he looks forward to.
Montreal defense ferocious. They rush 4 this time. Riley, second pass behind. Calvin McCarty coming out of the backfield. Incomplete pass. So it will be second down and 20 now for the Eskimos.
Yeah, not the position you want to be in if you're Doug Sam's offensive coordinator for the Edmonton Eskimos. Going backwards, wrong way offensively, second and 20. Imagine looking at a screen here, a draw early in the football game. There's Doug Sam's right there. He's He's held his ground this year in a tough season, going 3-10.
Double tight ends here. They send out 4 to the right. Riley stays in the pocket to the far side for Marcus Henry. Keeps chugging past Chip Potts, but is brought down just past the initial line of scrimmage.
May not look like much there. You know, you throw underneath because that's what the defense is giving you, and that's what Riley does. But you break a tackle there, and you put your team in a situation where you got a big, strong-legged kicker. He can go ahead and try to put points on the board here very easily as opposed to punting.
Hugh O'Neill will come out. An issue for the Eskimos has been field goals this season. The issue has been inside the 40-yard line, where their percentage is just 16 of 21 inside the 40. This will come near the 48-yard line. So one of the longest of the season for young Hugh O'Neill, the bearded wonder. Here is the kick, and it looks like he hooked this one. And bringing it out of the end zone. Tyrone Carrier up near the 22-yard line. So field goals an issue again for Kavis Reed and the Eskimos. Josh Nicewander will bring his offense to the field. Alouettes first series from scrimmage when we come back. Well, there was some excitement, maybe distorted excitement on the coin toss early on, as fan embraced the toss, but she thought her Eskimos had won the toss and then realized they had lost the toss early on in the ceremonial toss for the 50th Hall of Fame.
That is precious.
That was classic. Josh Nicewander now undercover, goes vertical. He's got a man. Brandon London brings it in and is spun to the carpet right away. Josh Nicewander goes to Brandon London, who came off a game last week with 3 drops, and London has been very underutilized this season. This time they go deep.
Yeah, only 19 catches coming in here. Here he is, folks, right here. It's just a vertical. He avoids the jam, and now it's a foot race trying to get back into the mix. It's Chris Thompson. He can't get there. Nicewander is exact with his throw, pushing it downfield, being aggressive early for the Alouettes.
Alouettes know they could really help bury the Eskimos in their crossover hopes. Here's Jerome Messam, a homecoming for Messam. Most outstanding Canadian 2 seasons ago here in Edmonton. Rolled up monster yards. Got traded, of course, to Montreal in the offseason. This is his first game back, Matty.
Yeah, they need him to produce more than he has since coming back in the lineup, only averaging like 34 yards a ball game. And there he rips off a big 11. He's a downhill back, north-south. You know, it's almost taking a guy that doesn't really fit into a scat-back type of scheme, which the Alouettes typically have run in the past, and they're having to adjust to the big man here. 6'3", 245 pounds, north-south runner, getting it done on that play.
Alouettes have not had good starts this season. Only 1 touchdown on first series. Nicewander has to throw that into the dirt. But remember the days when Anthony Calvillo, and of course Calvillo out with a concussion, and the Alouettes were indomitable. It seemed the powerhouse in the East, and always scored first series.
Yeah, like they were just locked in. They knew they had it charted. They went down there like robots and put it in the end zone. That's a play by Nicewander, making his 4th start here. Just throwing that one to the ground, not giving up the sack and giving up yards there.
26-year-old out of Winsboro, Texas. With the Angelo State Rams inside the red zone. Trouble for the Alouettes this year in the red zone. Laying up for it is Arland Bruce, and Bruce has a first down, and the Alouettes will go 1st and goal and try to put some points on the board in their first series.
Yeah, spotted well by Nicewander, who's right there in the middle of your football screen. Last 2 ball games, he's really started to settle in. Why? He's getting his reps. His 2 guys are going to be Durant Carter. He's introduced himself to the fans across the league over the last 6 weeks. He's phenomenal, big-time threat anywhere. And S.J. Green making it happen, leads the team with 61 catches, 900 yards on the season. And he's going to spread the field with those 2 guys all day long.
Will they keep it on the ground? Will they go to Green? Durant Carter's at the top of your screen. Nicewander's looking there, goes over the top, and what a catch! Touchdown, Alouettes. do something they have not done much of this year. Come out in their first series and score a touchdown. Only the second time through 13 games.
Very, very impressive drive by this football team. Being aggressive, like they were locked in. Watch Niswander's eyes. He locates his receiver right away. That's a mismatch. That is TJ Hill on SJ Green. Young quarterback picks up the mismatch, fires an easy little out route, 7 yards down the football field for an easy score. Well done by the Alouettes out of the gate on the road against Commonwealth.
What a start for Josh Niswander. Goes deep a couple times, then finds SJ Green in the house. Alouettes lead. Alouettes, of course, missing their other super slot in Jamel Richardson for the season, so S.J. Green has picked it up. His numbers, big numbers, and former South Florida Bull, 62nd catch on the season, getting closer to 1,000, and his 8th major score. And the Alouettes strike first here. Sean White kicks it back to the Eskimos now. One returner back. It is Jamal Miles trying to find the seam, and he's brought down at the 30-yard line. It is Hall of Fame weekend, and one of the inductees, former U of A star, Redskin, and Eskimo, Brian Fryer, is with Ryan Richard.
Rod, thank you very much, Brian. 1973 with the University of Alberta, 5 all-purpose touchdowns in one game. What do you remember about that?
I remember I shouldn't have been a running back that time. I was backing up the running back at the time. He got hurt, and next thing on him there, and that was a few passes and a few runs, so I was way back though.
I know it must be an incredible honor, but for you specifically, being that you're from this area and played here, does that make it extra special?
Oh, of course it does. My hometown. I'm born and raised here, and all my friends and alumni here to support me, and it's been just a great 3 days.
Brian, thanks for doing this, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
Rod?
Brian Fryer, one of the great Eskimos. Isn't it only appropriate that, you know, they've taken this show on the road, first time ever, to Edmonton, the Hall of Fame week. You've been here this week. And
that's Hall of Fame hair right there.
You understand what it means to this city. There are so many ex-Eskimos in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
And that could go in and are lined up to go in, and he's one of them. I had the pleasure of playing with him towards the end of his career, but he was the best four-route or out-route runner in the history of the Canadian Football League game. Phenomenal how he turned DBs around.
Eskimos after a penalty, 1st and 20. Hugh Charles back in the lineup for the Eskimos, comes out of the backfield. He's been nursing a bothersome hamstring injury, so he comes back in and is going to go to the sideline now as they sub him out.
Again, second and long situation, self-induced scenario for the Eskimos. They took points off the board in the first drive, and they give up 7. That's like a 10-point swing in my opinion.
Now look at Hugh Charles was on this sideline. Now he comes back in and he goes and he plays wide out this time. There he is.
Yeah. Jeff Tisdale's looking at him like, oh, I've got a cakewalk here. I got a running back out on it.
2nd and 14. Riley in the pocket again and finds Shamad Chambers, the Markham, Ontario product, up near the 50-yard line. That will move the sticks. So despite that early penalty, already 2 illegal substitution penalties against the Eskimos, they're able to move the football.
Yeah, Shamad Chambers, he's going to be right out here. I believe you're wide out. He's going to sit down out there, get to the sticks, and just watch him just kind of spraddle down. Roddy's strong arms it out there. Shows you his ability to make any throw on the football field. Tough situation. They convert, move the chains.
Former star and Wilfrid Laurier, Shamad Chambers. Motion now for the Eskimos. Riley's off to a hot start. Hugh Charles. And he is wrestled down by Gerald Brown. So a lot of question marks. Controversy perhaps surrounding the inclusion of Mike Riley this week, and it has not been easy on head coach Kavis Reed.
I haven't lost 10 games. I didn't lose as much sleep over the losses as I've lost over this decision in this situation, because player safety is paramount. I understand my career ended because of an upper body injury. You want to make certain that everything about that player says that he's going to be able to play and he's going to be able to play safely. So it has been a very stressful week from that perspective.
So Mike Riley completes another pass to Adarius Bowman. He's looked awfully good so far.
Yeah, he has.
But the inevitable question is here, does Mike Riley change his game based on what happened last week, Matt?
Not a chance. That's not what he's thinking about. He's thinking about executing a game plan. He's going to go out there and compete like Mike Riley's shown that he can. And that's very aggressive style. And he looks very comfortable here in the early going.
We've seen him, of course, when he's flushed out of the pocket. He likes to run. That's how he got hurt last week. See what happens if he does emerge from the pocket. Again, a quick hitter to the far side for Darius Bowman. One thing about Mike Riley, you know, a lot of comparisons have been drawn to you because you played the game the way this guy plays, and you played it hard. You always wanted to play the game.
Absolutely. And sometimes you have to, as a coach, and I know that Kavis Reed fretted and certainly had a lot of time to think about what he's going to do with his young quarterback, his franchise quarterback. And ultimately, Mike's out there, and he could have 2 broken legs, and he'd still want to play and go out there and compete.
Riley again stays in the pocket. Bowman again. And it is a first down. With more on the Mike Riley situation here in Edmonton, a guy who's been covering it closely all week is Ryan.
Yeah, guys, I had a chance to speak with GM Ed Hervey before the game. They did talk to Mike Riley heading into this game. They don't want him to change the way he plays, but they did tell him, we need you to be a little bit more aware. They don't want the aggressiveness and the recklessness to come out of his game because they feel that's what makes him so good, but they do want him to be aware. And as far as the game plan goes, nothing changes. They don't insulate Mike as far as play calling goes whatsoever, guys.
Yeah, Riley so far in this first quarter on his game, 7 and 8 for 101 yards.
Tight ends again. Hugh Charles again plunging over the 30-yard line. Picked up about 3 or 4 yards here.
I love the way that Riley approaches the game. Approaches it like it's his very last. Every play just attacks the football field. Phenomenal moving the ball with his legs. 539 yards coming this football game. Got a strong arm. She showed you that here in the first quarter. He's going to be a treat to watch over the course of his career.
Riley changes the play this time. 2nd down and 7. Goes over the top for Fred Stamps, but it's picked off by Gerald Brown. Brown a little stutter step. And Mike Riley throws the pick here early as the Eskimos were marching downfield. Gerald Brown, interception. Alouettes get the ball back, leading 7. Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend. The ball hawking Montreal Alouettes, as they are prone to do. Another pickoff, 18th of the season.
4th for Gerald Brown right there.
From the league leaders, nice wander. Fakes one way, goes the other. Open man is Arland Bruce, and he's got room. Gets a block from Duron Carter. Arland Bruce in a foot race is pushed out of bounds. Arland Bruce has had some big games in the past against the Edmonton Eskimos, and already his 2nd reception. This was for a huge gainer right into Eskimo territory, a 62-yarder.
Yeah, big plays here for the Alouettes. He comes from the inside out. He's got Duron Carter wide open right here because the DB falls down. He chooses to go back inside to wide open Arland Bruce. I guarantee it. Early in his career, that's a walk-in touchdown, but he is walked down by 3 Edmonton Eskimos. Not after a huge gain for the Alouettes.
Arland Bruce in his career has had 13 touchdowns against the Eskimos. He's a member of the BC Lions, the Argos, the Cats, the Blue Bombers, and now a member of the Montreal Alouettes. Jerome Messam plowing forward.
I told you, Gerald Brown, 5th-year halfback from Glenville State. He gets his 4th interception. Look at this right here. You've got all this space back here. You got to lift the football. Mike Riley chooses to try to shoot it in there, dart it in there. Fred Stamps is over the top. Nobody on the back end. He tries to knife it underneath. Gerald Brown reads it, undercuts his receiver. That's an easy interception. That's one that Mike Riley would like to have back.
Josh Nicewander. This offense has been simplified considerably the last couple of weeks. Has not thrown an interception in 2 straight games. Behind cover and fumbling the football, but scoring. Who else but S.J. Green?
Everything going right for the Alouettes here. Edmonton Eskimos shooting themselves in the foot, stalling some of their drives. Interception by Gerald Brown. A couple of big plays. And there, ball's thrown behind. Estre makes a nice catch, goes at 360, puts the ball on the ground, bounces right back up to him. That's just incredible. Here he is here. He's going to come underneath this receiver here as Arland Bruce clears it out. Actually, he just hit a little soft spot in the zone there. Ball bounces, gets in the end zone. Number 9 for S.J. Green. Big play capability shown here by the Alouettes. Where's this been all season?
And for the Edmonton Eskimos, an all too familiar refrain, slow start to first quarters. Only 8 points last week, shut out a number of times. They've only scored double digits twice in first quarters this season, and they are down 14 early here. The key, though, that interception by Gerald Brown. Nice Swander does it again, and so too S.J. Green. A little bit of a fumble, but it doesn't matter. His second touchdown of the day.
Hey, they were like, oh,
well, S.J. Green's been an early story. So too Josh Nicewander, 2 touchdown passes. 5 of 6 for Nicewander out of the gate here. And the Alouettes, one of their strongest starts of 2013.
Everybody's getting involved too. Brandon London, S.J. Green, Arlen Bruce, downhill running by their Jerome Messam, their tailback. And this is a great start for a young quarterback who's really trying to solidify himself as a starter in the absence of Tanner Marsh and Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah, Jim Pop and the Alouettes know they can put their cleats on the throats of the Eskimos here today as the Eskimos try to desperately claw to a playoff aspiration of crossing over. Their only hope now. But right now they're down deep. 14-0. 3 minutes to go opening quarter. Jamal Miles is hit hard. And he gets up. But it's another long field here for the Edmonton Eskimos, who look good offensively in that last drive. In fact, their first 2 drives, but penalties and turnovers costly so far.
Miles not a very big man, and he gets undercut. He fumbles the football.
Did fumble the football.
Comes right back to him. Fortunate there. Well, that's flying. You want to be on teams, you want to be a CFL football player, you got to earn your way on. And typically that's through special teams and cover units like that. And you go down there flying around and you just give up your body and make things happen.
First and 10 from their 28. Riley again, pocket passer so far, running underneath it. What a catch! What a toss to a Darius Bowman.
Oh my goodness.
That's a video game play.
Oh my goodness. I mean, there's a strong arm once again and very accurate throw. And Darius Bowman, off to a great start for the Eskimos, doesn't show on the scoreboard, little hesitation move, and then he puts on the Jets and simply just outruns Ben Wells with an accurate throw. One hand stabs it. Look at this. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Nice. Beautiful.
These guys put in the time to make that look easy.
Well, again, Riley staying in the pocket so far and finding receivers. Just has not been able to finish off any drives yet. Yeah. An audible there. Quick hitter again to Shamon Chambers, and he's hit by Ben Wells. Chambers slow to get up. Looks like half the first down yardage here. Chambers looks like he's going to go to the sideline now.
Check all his parts.
Yeah, that was a big hit.
That was. I don't think Wells was happy with the last play. It kind of took out his frustration on the young Chambers.
Chambers, a 6th round pick. First rounder last year, rookie season. Coming to his own this year.
Big target, tons of potential. Trying to live up to it.
Calvin McCarty stays into block. Riley on the blitz. And can't catch Fred Stamps, but there is a penalty flag, and Mike Riley takes his first hit of the game. And it's a roughing the passer call.
Yeah, it was, and Riley's slow to get up. You can't trust his body language, though.
Roughing the passer. Montreal 21, 15 yards, automatic first down.
That's Mike Edom. First year free safety, who's having a spectacular year. They use him a lot. He's coming right up the edge. Right off the edge. Well, that's how close they're calling it nowadays. Ball was out. Mike's got to try to pull up. Tough spot for the young man who's having a fabulous first year in the season. That's a huge play for the Eskimos. They're looking for a break.
Certainly Rookie of the Year candidate, Mike Edom. First round pick of the Alouettes. Calgary Dino. Little counter play here. Deception play that was read perfectly by the Alouettes. You know, a lot of eyes are on Mike Riley, obviously. That was the first time he had to absorb a hit. The last time he took a hit was the helmet-to-helmet from Cleon Lang, which was a week ago. And then was really knocked woozy. It appeared that he was concussed, stayed in the game, then threw a pass, and then came out, and we didn't see him after that.
Phenomenal events, how they unfolded last week, and I'm just glad that he's been clear and he's out there competing, and we'll keep a close eye on him for sure.
Look out as he throws it to the corner and throws it out of bounds and had to run for his life as the Alouettes were blitzing big.
And this is the Alouettes' mindset and their game plan. You can see more pressure, and they're twisting, bringing people up the middle. And Riley's got two people in space here. He does a smart thing, doesn't try to force it in there, and another turnover, and he throws this one out of bounds. Hope to put 3 points on the board, break that goose egg, try to get back in this football game.
You know, you go back to that first drive where the Eskimos missed a field goal. Hugh O'Neill, it's been plaguing Edmonton the last couple of seasons. Their low percentage on field goals. This one from the 24, and this time he puts it down Main Street. And here's the Bronx cheers.
Yeah, it's kind of sarcastic, I think, there from the Edmonton faithful.
Final play of the first quarter that was dominated by the Alouettes. Josh Nicewander and this guy. Perennial Eastern All-Star S.J. Green. 2 touchdowns. That's the difference so far here at Commonwealth Stadium. Out of 14 games, into their 14th game so far, this is only the 7th time the Montreal Alouettes have had the lead. That's rather startling. Again, under Anthony Calvillo in years past, the Alouettes are used to this stuff, leading 14-3 after one.
Yeah, and they look like the Alouettes of old, although Josh Nicewander only making his 4th start. Looks very comfortable out there, taking advantage of his opportunity the second time around. Really felt like he didn't seize his chance earlier in the season. This time he's not going to let it go. He's up to the task today. Big plays, being aggressive, pushing the ball down the football field to some veteran receivers for big plays, taking advantage of the sudden change offense and the Gerald Brown interception.
We had a very interesting conversation with Nicewander yesterday, and keep in mind he got his first win under very interesting circumstances. He only played a few downs and then was relieved by Tanner Marsh, who led his team to the win, but Nicewander got the win. Nicewander ducks now, and now he has to scramble, and he goes forward for a first down. Josh Nicewander.
Yeah, well, the team he's picking apart right now is led by these guys right here. You got Joe Burnett on the corner for the Eskimos. This kid, 35 tackles on the season, still looking for his first interception when he had 6 last year. Eric Samuels lit it up last week. He had a lot of attention coming his way. Had 8 tackles last week, certainly on fire. Marcus Howard, 7 sacks in the last 4 ball games. He's looking to put more pressure than he has here in the second quarter than he was able to apply in the first on Nicewander, who's got a hot hand.
Nicewander's been with the Alouettes. He's hardly a newcomer. He just hasn't played. A little slant to Duron Carter. Duron Carter now makes some people miss. Duron Carter now outside and is eventually tripped up by Eric Samuels. Otherwise, he was gone. And Duron Carter also induces a flag late after the tackle.
Illegal block downfield, I believe. But this is just, look, watch the hesitation right there. And he finds a little gap, and then he shows you his speed, much like he did last week on a touchdown reception against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the 17-12 win.
After yard per game, legal block, Montreal, number 1. 10-yard penalty, the first down.
Yeah, Orland just kind of got caught up in the wrong spot in the back at 38, Eric Samuels. And he tried to lay up. Well, that's another big play by the young receiver, Duron Carter. He's got the famous father, obviously.
A Hall of Famer down south.
Yes.
We talk about Hall of Fame weekend here. Just went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year, and of course is a broadcaster with ESPN. Usually on game days when they play Sunday, I hear all the monitors are turned to NFL games except for one, when Duron's playing.
There you go.
And there's a fumble football in the backfield. Shovel pass, Jerome Messam, so that's incomplete.
That's the one you just like, the quarterback, you're like, really? We can't complete a shovel pass? They've completed everything else here in the early going of this football game, but that one, that was disrupted by the front of the Edmonton Eskimos. Got in the face of Nicewander, and he had to pitch the ball a little behind his running back, Jerome Messam, and they couldn't. That's a high percentage throw, obviously, Rod. You're only throwing it like 3 or 4 yards in front of you on a little option pass, and they don't get it done there. But this kid's phenomenal. earlier on, made somebody miss earlier in this drive, showed you his ability to run the football. I like Nicewander. You know why, Rod? For a number of reasons. He's got a lot of composure. He's fighting back.
He's Texan.
He's
Texan.
Absolutely. I work out with this kid in the off season. He lives right across the lake, and we get together and jumping around some.
Well, you've been teaching him well. He looks left now, and now has to get flushed from the pocket again. Makes another miss, and Josh Nicewander showing us his abilities with his feet. I said before, he's been here for the last couple of seasons. He was on the sideline all last year, did not play it down, did not throw a pass, Nicewander, and has been playing behind Anthony Calvillo and other players, and finally getting his chance, Matty.
Yeah, he is. He's seasoned it. Well, this is the second time around. As you mentioned earlier, he got pulled on a very, very short leash after he threw an interception, one that he was jostled in the pocket with, and then the receiver ran the wrong route, and he gets pulled for it. He had to bite the bullet there, bide his time. He's certainly taken advantage of it here.
He wasn't happy about it either, as Arland Bruce takes it right side, and Bruce dives forward. Joe Burnett, the tackle on the far side, will be a yard and a half shy of the first down.
You know, oftentimes there's another guy winning the Hall of Fame this weekend by the name of Earl Winfield. 11 years with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and that guy right there.
He has a bust getting ready, don't you think?
I believe he does, but he reminds me a lot of Earl. Maybe not as big of a receiver, but certainly big play capabilities that he brings to the table. Been a joy to watch. He's lit it up in his career, and the Alouettes are happy to have him as a veteran presence in that receiving corps.
10th overall in CFL history, Arland Bruce has been a winner. And handing it off, and fighting forward is Terrell Sutton. And it brings it inside the 10-yard line. For an Alouette team that has been so shaky, that might be a compliment to their offense this season. This team has looked awfully good so far.
Yeah, they have. And all-important game for both these teams, Rod. You know it. There's no room for error here. Doug Barry's calling, I think, a magnificent game. Being very aggressive. His young quarterback's making them look good. Made a smart decision in the first quarter. Just dumped a screen pass into the ground, not taking the loss. Everything's working well with the Alouettes offense here early on.
Nicewander to the corner and trying to lay out and make a spectacular catch, Duron Carter, but he does get the flag for interference. So unable to make the highlight reel catch, but it will move the ball half the distance to the goal line.
Yeah, right in your kitchen sink here. Look at, he's pulling there. There it is. You see it. That's an easy one. That's a guy
Edmonton in goal. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. First down.
That's Joe Burnett on the corner looking for his first interception. Not going to get one there. Certainly get flagged. That was an easy call. Duron Carter is showing his explosiveness, because that's a good cornerback in Joe Burnett. He can cover a lot of people well. That time he had his hands full with the young Duron Carter.
Down to the 1. There's Jerome Messam in the backfield. Wouldn't he love to get to the end zone? There he is, and can't get there. There's a penalty flag, though, in the end zone.
Yeah, that looks like the head linesman or the side judge there. That's typically somebody lined up in the neutral zone. Oh, no.
Looks like the Alouettes.
That's Michael Ola. Second-year man from Hampton, the guard.
Edmonton, number 97. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. Repeat, first down.
So it'll be first down again from the goal line. Michael Ola is down. Alouettes have already suffered some big injuries on that O-line. We'll come back to Edmonton in a moment. The Montreal MASH unit continues. Last time these teams met back in late July, there were some different people in the lineup, including AC, Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah, just take it down. Those are all the people that caught passes for AC in that game July 25th. And here's the guys who are catching the rock for Josh Nicewander today. And Christian Matt steps in, fills in, four-year player from Concordia, filling in for Michael Ola.
Troy Smith behind center. The Heisman Trophy winner has his second CFL score.
You had a chance to shake his hand earlier in pregame, and he about squeezed your knuckles.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, he's a strong individual. and certainly built for this type of play, like a fullback. Getting it done for the Alouettes.
As Jim Pop has said, they're bringing Troy Smith along slowly. Here's a guy who still wants to play pro football. His NFL dream ended. He was the Heisman Trophy winner, came in with a lot of hype, obviously, went to the UFL and played there and became available. Jim Pop signed him. They're bringing him along, and he's getting some short yardage plays.
He capped a 9-play drive, 75 yards, a little over 4.5 minutes. Alouettes. Josh Nicewinder moving down the field. Troy Smith putting it in the end zone.
29-year-old Troy Smith, former Baltimore Raven, former 49er, Heisman Trophy winner out of Ohio State, has his second touchdown in the Canadian Football League. Do you have a feeling as you watch the development of Troy Smith that somewhere down the road we might see a lot more Troy Smith?
I got that feeling yesterday talking to Jim Pop. We'd see him today, but Nicewinder's doing everything he can to keep him off the field.
It has been the season of the great new quarterbacks, hasn't it? In 2013, it's been Hall of Fame weekend here, and another Hall of Famer is the former great Argo Dan Ferroni, who's with Ryan.
Dan, I've talked to you a couple of times this week. Both times you've been so shocked that people in Edmonton are welcoming a Toronto boy with such open arms.
Oh, it's been fantastic here. Edmonton has certainly done an outstanding job. We had 1,100 people come to the dinner. My God, that was something special and exciting, and today's game has been great. I've always enjoyed coming to Edmonton.
Dan, do the rivalries transcend all the years? We talked about the great battles you had against the Tie Cats. To this day, when you see that jersey, do you still get a twinge?
Oh, you know what? Anytime anybody's wearing yellow, you still get a twinge. You know, they were rivals, and it's a great thing to have. It makes games exciting. We enjoy it. It's fun. It's a recognition, and then you shake hands at the end of the game, and it's done. We're going to go share a beer. You know.
Dan, congratulations on the honor, and enjoy the rest of the week.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Mom.
Oh, isn't that classic? That's what every football player always shouts out. Dan Ferroni, even as a retired football player, shouts it out.
Yeah, I got to call him, too. He says, a beer after the game? Nah, not a chance. That guy is Mr. Argo. Phenomenal football career. Well-deserved. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to Dan Ferroni. You saw Fred Stamps hauling his first pass of the game and going high, and a flag comes down on the play. Coming down with the football was Marcus Henry.
This could be offensive pass interference, because it's a strange area for a flag to come down, and the timing of it.
Yeah, both players went up together. Again, here's Kim Murphy.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Montreal number 97. The penalty is declined. First down.
Aaron Laverius, rush lineman, downfield.
Laverius has really stepped it up from Akron. He's right here. He's going to drop back underneath, and
they grab John White, maybe.
I don't know. I don't see that.
No. Well, they might have had.
It is what it is. A lot of good things happening down the field.
First and 10 again for Riley. Lots of time now for the first time out of the pocket. Rolls and will throw it into his bench. Caught by Chris Thompson, but that's his own teammate on the sideline. There is Dan Ferroni, the former Argo.
Yeah, he's a pit bull. He'd get his hands on you. He'd get close to you. He had such great leverage. He's like the epitome of an offensive guard. His height, he's like 6'3", goes about 290. Doesn't age. The guy looks the same today as he did when he played. Phenomenal football player. Had the pleasure of being a teammate of his.
Do I look too nice?
Spectacular career.
Still talking weight down there. Fred Stamps tried to make the spectacular catch, could not, and the punt team will come out.
This is Freddie Stamps. He's going up against Billy Parker. Hey, Stamps got him out of his break. The ball was just off target. Stamps can't pull it in. Nobody can. Saw Mike Riley's reaction, snapping his hands together in disgust with himself because he knew he missed that one.
Big Alouette lead here. Getting close to the midway point of the second quarter. Ron Carrier is back to take the kick from Brant Shaw. Converged on quickly at the 30-yard line. 8:07 to go, 21-3. Canadian Football Hall of Fame weekend in Edmonton. You can catch the season premiere of Arrow and the new series, The Tomorrow People, sharing the night to save the day. It all starts Wednesday at 7 on CTV. There's a guy played like an Arrow when he was with the Edmonton Eskimos. The Cap, Danny Kepley, his
scared me in practice.
His bust
scared me in practice.
The Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton, the Manny inductees. Quick hitter again, Duron Carter, who has been very impressive. You knew the guy could catch the football. It's what he does after he catches the football that has been really impressive the last couple of weeks.
Plays extreme composure beyond his years and experience. He's 6'4" and can run like the wind. Not intimidated. He's gone up against some of the best corners in the league, made them look average. Continues to be a big threat for the Alouettes here in this football game. Josh Nicewander, love him when he's got in the field right now.
5 receivers for Nicewander, and going deep again into coverage, and caught, but dropped by Eric Deslauriers. Incomplete pass. For a moment, it looked like Deslauriers was able to snag that.
Yeah, he is flying up the seam here, right in the numbers, kind of splitting the difference in no man's land between a corner and a 3 to the short side. Nicewander puts it on him. There you see TJ Hill, linebackers deep in coverage and drop back. Little rotation coverage there in the back end for the Eskimos. And ball that should have been caught. That's the difference in a huge day for a quarterback and stymieing offense right there.
Jamal Miles, again, this one bounces out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So good field position to work with Mike Riley now. 7 minutes to go before halftime. And the Eskimos, who had a couple of impressive drives early on, but stalled, missed field goal, and then an interception from Gerald Brown that led to a touchdown. And Mike Riley and his Eskimo offense flatlined. Is that because of the offense, or is that because of Montreal's defense?
Well, I think it's because of themselves. I mean, I'm not discrediting Montreal's defense, but you talk to the Eskimos, you talk to coaches, players, they got to get out of the way of themselves before they can beat the Alouettes. They're going backwards oftentimes with penalties. That's been the nemesis thus far.
1st and 10, Riley. Fred Stamps. Quickly brought down by Gerald Brown. One of the packages that has worked a lot for the Eskimos this season. 2 of those little dump passes that they've used with Hugh Charles and certainly Calvin McCarty. That's been his forte. We haven't seen that yet from the Edmonton Eskimos today.
I'd like to see it incorporated in their offense, period. Screen passes, get some big boys out in front of Hugh Charles and Calvin McCarty. And let them run in space. High percentage throws, like that one there to Fred Stamps.
Especially if the Alouettes are loading the box, which they do this time. 2nd and 3. John White, the handoff will go nowhere. He's stuffed and well short of a first down.
And you see the aggressiveness there by the Alouettes defense on 2nd and 3. They load the box and they bring pressure, whether it's run or pass, because they're covering down on every gap across the board, and it's a run stop as well. You're going to see that. Watch them all fill the gaps. Each one of these gaps in here is going to be filled with a man coming. There they go. They all fill their gaps, and they're there for the run or the pass, and they stop the run, forcing a punt. Noel Thorpe really got his defense humming. They're 2nd in the league in net defense at 316, and against the run, only giving up 85.5 per game. They're the mainstay of the Alouettes. Get a little offense with them, they're a lethal football team.
It's 3rd down and 2. Carrier is dropped at the 28-yard line. Another foot by John White there, and perhaps Edmonton would have contemplated going for it, but they don't. They kick it away. A game that started off with some explosive offense, especially from the Alouettes, and it looked like we might see both teams light it up, has now gone into a battle of field position.
I think both teams offensively have stopped themselves. Certainly Gerald Brown got a big pick for the Alouettes, and then their offense used a sudden change attack and mentality and knifed the football down the field again and put points on the board. But Nicewander had one dropped by Eric Deslauriers, and certainly Riley's and his team offensively have shot themselves in the foot with penalties.
Shotgun now for Nicewander. There's the rush. Again going deep. And streaking downfield was London, but it is picked off and then fumbled and pounced on by the Alouettes. Talk about a break. Eric Delorier recovers the football after it was picked off by Joe Burnett. That would have been his first of the season.
Yeah, and this ball kind of hung up on Nicewander, and maybe we'll have a look at the pitch shot or behind the quarterback look, but here the ball's underthrown. He's got London beat.
It's Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson is trying to get his, and he gets it. And then Delorier trying to make amends for a drop in the last series. He's hustling to the ball, and good things happen.
They have thrown a challenge flag. And the challenge, obviously, is going to be from the Edmonton Eskimos. Feeling that that ball was incomplete. What a break for the Alouettes here as Kim Murphy comes over to Cavis Reed. Did Chris Thompson have enough of the football?
Yeah, that's what they're challenging here. And that's not a bad challenge because that's another big gain for the Alouettes if the play stands.
Edmonton is challenging the ruling on the field of an interception followed by a fumble. We'll review the play.
Normally you would never challenge an interception for your own team, but if it's fumbled and recovered by somebody else, you have to. So that's what they're doing right now. But Eric Delorier, who almost had a catch earlier, is Johnny on the spot this time to jump on that football.
Here it is again. Here it is again. And, I mean, it's a nice job by Thompson coming back into the play. And he's got the ball there. I think that's a catch and a fumble.
Yeah.
He takes 2 steps, the ball secured to his left side there in his left arm, and then credit London for stripping it. And then, hey, hats off to hustling to the football by Eric Delorier.
Brandon London will get credit for forcing a fumble here.
Look at his eyes get big right there.
Look at Delorier.
Yeah. Oh, and that's exactly. Anybody who's gone through a recovery, here's Delorier here. I believe he's right in this area here.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. Forward pass completed, followed by a fumble. First down.
Hustle to the ball. Hustle to the ball, and that's what he did. The Edmonton Eskimos, they saw the fumble themselves. Hey, hustle play by Delorier, and textbook recovery of a fumble. Anybody who's ever played football, they always go through that drill of how to recover a fumble. Exactly how to do it. Eric Delorier, big play.
Now Messam barges forward past the 30-yard line. So the Montreal Alouettes, everything going their way in this first half. As we creep towards the 4.5-minute mark, they've had an interception that led to a touchdown. Eskimos shot themselves in the foot early by missing a field goal at that time. Looked like a turnover forced by Edmonton, and the Alouettes retain possession.
Sean White's working to put 3 more points on the board. They don't make it happen here on second down. Huge play for the Alouettes once again.
Alouettes are last in the league in second down conversions. Nicewander's been good today, and again, they will not convert second down, looking for S.J. Green. So indeed, Sean White will come out. He's operating at about 88% this season. The diminutive kicker from White Rock, BC.
Yeah, this is a pitch shot for him. Just a 37-yarder. The last ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Nicewander looking at number 19 the whole way. Ball's tipped there. Doesn't get there with the timing. That can disrupt the smallest of things. Stymies a drive there.
From about the 37-yard line, White puts it up, and he will put it through, extending the lead to 3 converted touchdowns for the Alouettes right now. Very solid first half of football for Jim Pop's Owls.
Yeah, Jim Pop, boy, he's a master of pushing the right buttons, whether it's from the GM position or on the sidelines. Jim Pop is really stepped back into a very difficult situation, one that he kind of self-induced a bit with the hiring of Dan Hawkins, the firing of Dan Hawkins, and having to go back on the sidelines once again as the Alouettes sideline boss. And I think he does a fabulous job of getting the most out of his football players that he can find anywhere throughout both countries.
So Says he really is the coordinator now. He designates assignments for all the assistants. He's done it before. He's gone to the sideline, but this season went off the rails right from the beginning for the Montreal Alouettes with the hiring of Dan Hawkins.
It really did, and Dan Hawkins, said he was going to keep things the same or as much as possible, and then went a completely different route. The team was in disarray. Players were trying to toe the company line and say the right things, but behind the scenes, it was a mess, and it's difficult to clean that up mid-stride. The Alouettes are still trying to get back on track.
And then, of course, the biggest blow, the injury to Anthony Calvillo, the concussion. Jamel Richardson out. So many things have gone wrong.
Brandon Whitaker.
Riley, quick hitter, swarmed the far side of the field. Marcus Henry bringing it in, and it's a first down again. 3-minute warning is signaled to each bench here. 24-3 to score, Eskimos. We are 2 minutes and 42 seconds away from GMC Live at the half with the boys. Dave Randorf, Milt Stiegel, Chris Schultzen, Paul LaPolice. Doubleheader Saturday here, including this game, which culminates a huge week of festivities. Canadian Football Hall of Fame, Rod Black along with Hall of Famer Matt Dunnigan, Ryan Rishaug. You've had a ball here this week, haven't you?
I have.
You had much sleep?
I have. Not really. But hey, sleep's overrated.
It is.
Sleep when you die.
Yes, you can. Try that end around again. This time read perfectly. Jamal Miles, you are going nowhere.
Especially that guy around. Chip Cox leads the leagues in tackles. He's going after J.C. Sherritt's all-time tackling record in the season. He's been on fire. This guy, when he gets his mitts on you, you're going down.
Chip Cox came into the game with 91 tackles. He's the Alouettes' all-time leading tackler, and hardly a play or two goes by without us mentioning number 11's name.
Yeah, and he's the beneficiary of his young teammate, Mike Edom, coming in there forcing the back end side.
Second and long again, 2nd and 19. Here's the rush again. Riley unloads. It's picked off. Mike Edom off to the races and is finally knocked out of bounds by Matt Carter. Second interception thrown up by Mike Riley, a 38-yard pick, and Mike Edom continues to draw more praise and probably a few more votes for Rookie of the Year.
This is Kyrie Zabear. He's dropping back here. Laverius can go here. Edom's underneath here. He's going to undercut it, and he gets his 3rd pick of his season. Watch him. He just undercuts Fred Stamp, says thank you. That's a different look. That's a tough one for any quarterback. I don't care if you're making your 14th or 16th start or not. That's a tough read. Montreal, Noel Thorpe really mixing it up in the Al secondary. Excellent job of disguising the look and making it happen.
Nice wander over the top for Brandon London. London, I'm sure, has probably attached some Velcro to those mitts this week. Again, 3 drops last week. Has had a couple of big catches already today. This has been a disastrous first half for the Edmonton Eskimos.
He's been a big part of it too. Brandon London looking to rebound. He had a big conversation with Jim Pop. He sat him down and says, look, what's going on? He asked him, what's going on? Very honest. And challenged him to become the player he drafted or got on the team 4 years ago. And he's going back to the basics. Good showing here today.
Nice wander. Touchdown, Arland Bruce. Wow. And here is the pose.
There it is. There it is. Hey, making it look easy. Nice wander, having one heck of a half of football here. Saying, Troy Smith, I don't care if you won the 2006 Heisman Trophy. This is my team now for the time being, and he's taking full advantage of his second trip. Watch his eyes.
Yeah, don't you get a sense right now that he's taking some ownership, Josh Nicewander, which he did not have a few weeks ago?
Did you see it last week on the sidelines? Very demonstrative, kind of getting in some players' faces, and I think that's a good sign. He's vested. He expects more from his teammates, and he's taking control and feeling comfortable throwing bullets out there today, lighting it up with his veteran receiver corps, who's really responding.
Arland Bruce's 91st career touchdown, his 2nd of the season, and another touchdown from Josh Nicewander. And all this guy has wanted to do is play football.
the one thing that I really lacked was the game experience to show these guys that, hey, not only can I come in early and watch film and study and prepare and know our offense inside and out and know how we're trying to attack defenses, but because I've had the opportunity to go in and play now, and we've been fairly productive on offense, I feel like that was one thing I really needed to show my guys, is that, hey, I can do all these things, and then when we get into a game, I can put it into effect, and we can be productive as an offense with me as your leader.
Josh Nicewander, 8th touchdown strike of the season. Here's the big number: 0 interceptions over 2.5 games for Josh Nicewander.
That's right, 6 TDs, 3 on the day, and really efficient right now. And it lends itself to the importance of continuity behind the center and getting reps in practice. And it transfers over on the football field in production. That's obvious for Nicewander and his football team today.
Shortish kickoff this time. I do not think many people saw this coming. With all the news surrounding this man this week, Mike Riley, you looked at all the numbers, and if you play this game by numbers, as we know, it's not all about numbers sometimes. You play by numbers. These teams are so even in so many categories. The numbers on the scoreboard right now do not reflect that.
No, they don't. 2 teams going in different directions now. Montreal trying to stay in the race out east, trying to catch Hamilton, who's now 7-7. They're looking for their 6th win of the season, so they can move to 6-8. These 2 football teams, a lot of talk about Raleigh. Nobody was talking about the Alouettes. Well, they're making sure that they're noticing who's on the football field today.
Well, the Alouettes come in here determined to bury the Edmonton Eskimos' playoff hopes. Crossing over. 28 points down. Riley going deep. Huge overthrow on Darius Bowman.
Yeah, that's just a tough one. Anytime the receiver stops and hesitates, you know, it's tough on a quarterback. And this is what happens with Bowman. He's going to go here, and now he's got to get up to speed. He can't get going. The ball's trying to throw out, and that's a tough one. When a receiver's in full flight, it's an easy throw for quarterbacks. Tough to pick up his timing when he hesitates like that. Bowman just couldn't catch up.
They've been going after Ben Wells on that corner quite a bit today, replacing Byron Parker, the veteran, not in the lineup. Riley, and through the gloves of Marcus Henry, ball that should have been caught, and again the Eskimos will kick it away, and a chance for the Alouettes to put even more points on the board.
Ooh, boy, just disarray, no timing or rhythm there offensively. We showed it in the first incompletion to Bowman, and there hesitant. You got a receiver sitting down. Riley expects him to continue across the middle. More miscommunication. This football team is getting it taken to them here in the first 30 minutes.
Well, this is a team that's been topsy-turvy the last couple of weeks. Came back from 20 points down against Winnipeg. There's a fumble football on a return, but recovered. That's been something that's been an issue with the Alouettes this season. Carrier comes on top of it. But the other one is that the Eskimos also gave up a 21-point lead a week ago to the Toronto Argonauts, and right now this psyche is very fragile.
Yeah, 23 points in the fourth quarter, 33 points in the second half. They're going to have some of that here themselves in the second half of this football game. Their own nemesis, credit Montreal for doing what they have to do, but the Eskimos got to get out of the way of themselves before they can start competing against the Alouettes here today.
It would have to be the biggest comeback of the season right now for the Eskimos if they have any hope. Again, down 4 touchdowns now, but Josh Nicewander has been cool at the controls. Terrell Sutton.
Talk about cool. You guys just hesitating, patience. Uh-oh.
And TJ Hill, the former Alouette, getting into it.
You're trying to help up Sutton.
And we talked about the Owls' injuries, too, not to be forgotten. Scott Flory missing. You mentioned Brandon Whitaker and
Paul
injuries. And Patrick Lavoie, who was hurt this week.
I mean, you know, you got to look up at the skies at that point and say, really? 5 minutes ago in the last practice of the week, and you lose Patrick Lavoie? But hey, you talk about Jim Pop doing his thing. He had gone to Doug Barry the week before and says, who's practicing behind Lavoie? That's why they bring in Spencer. They move him to the opposite side of the football, and he's here today playing that position.
Nicewander with time again. And again, it's Terrell Sutton who is going to be short of the first down as the clock ticks to 28 seconds, and Sean White will boot it back here. Eskimos may get a few ticks to work with, but they're going to face a very big deficit heading to the second half.
I see Jonathan Crompton keeping his wing warmed up on the sidelines. I think he's probably going to go in this football game and give a Hail Mary shot.
Yeah,
he's putting on his helmet. There he is. There he is warming up and with a purpose on the sidelines there briefly, and I expect him to come out here and launch one.
It's been such a crazy week here in Edmonton with the Riley syndrome that was going on and the post-concussion talk. Jonathan Crompton was on the depth chart listed as the starting quarterback for today based on Riley's medical clearance.
A lot of times those depth charts don't mean a lot to us as broadcasters.
Here's Jamal Miles. This is the last play. Clock ticking down. Miles outside. There he goes. Jamal Miles is finally dropped, but about 25 yards too short. And finally some excitement for the Eskimos, but too late. Gun sounds. Half is over. What a half for the Montreal Alouettes. All over the Eskimos, 31-3. Back to the studio. GMC live at the half, and here's Dave Randall. Biggest Montreal lead at the half of the season. Biggest Eskimo deficit heading to a second half this season. 31-3 the score. Ryan Rishaug with Edmonton head coach Kavis Reed.
Kavis, obviously a tough half of football for your team. What went wrong?
We didn't execute it in any of the phases. Tackling, coverage, recognition of formation, penalties that really put us in an adverse situation where we're moving the ball, quick snaps, things of that nature that really put us in a bad situation.
I know you said it was a tough decision this week to decide to start Mike Riley. How do you assess his play so far, and are you staying with him?
Mike has been pretty good. Obviously, the interceptions we'd like to have back, but Mike has been pretty good, and we're going to see right now whether or not we feel we can go with him. Down 28, obviously, we don't put him in any situation where he can get injured.
All right, thanks, Kavis.
Thank you.
Okay, well, there's Jonathan Crompton. So the mystery surrounding the quarterback continues into the second half. There was no definitive yes or no, but with Riley not having a helmet on and Crompton wearing his helmet, the spider senses are tingling.
Yeah, we're going to see the first-year player from University of Tennessee, Crompton here, I believe, when the Eskimos offense take the unit. They're going to have to wait their turn. Going to let the hot hand of Josh Nicewinder go out there and see if he can continue putting the ball in the end zone and getting big chunks offensively, spreading around. His veteran receiving corps has really stepped up for him.
Well, a few moments ago in the Eskimo locker room, I'm not sure if Jonathan Crompton was asked what he's having for dinner or whether he's going or not. And that would seem to suggest that he didn't even know heading out to the field, with Kerry Joseph also waiting in the wings. So Crompton has a football in his hands.
Matt Nichols patting him there on the backside. All indications say Jonathan Crompton's in the ballgame.
One thing the Eskimos do not do is tip their hand this week. And coming around the corner once again is Arland Bruce.
Is that not fitting, what just happened there? Arland Bruce coming around the corner, big play, moving the chains in big chunks, and then he lowers his head and just runs over two Edmonton Eskimos. Alouettes continuing to take it to the Eskimos, and this is certainly verifies that. Bang.
Marcel Young makes the tackle. Yeah, the Alouettes, as Kavis Reed alluded to, pretty much beating the Eskimos in every facet. And S.J. Green trying to lay out. Needed another 4 or 5 feet before he can make a lunging grab there, as Marcel Young was watching him on the corner.
No letting up by the Alouettes. They come out here, bringing Arland Bruce a little end around, then knifing the football 40 yards down the football field. Obviously, their game plan is to continue to put the Edmonton Eskimos on their heels.
Ron Carter is jawing with some of the Eskimos' defensive personnel.
A name we haven't mentioned all day long is J.C. Sherritt, Mato Nunez. They've been knocked backwards to this point.
6 receiver set for Nicewinder, and that one An errant toss over to Arlen Bruce. So the Eskimo defense comes up with a victory here early on, and they will force the Alouettes to boot the ball away.
Well, that was the secondary getting it done there on 2 plays back-to-back. Covered down and all the receivers. Bruce trying to run a little bang around the left-hand side. Nicewander did the smart thing, threw that ball basically away. That's what the Eskimo defense is going to need here in the second half. A lot of those 2-and-outs.
Jamal Miles, who had an outstanding return, and not this time as the ball bounces away from him. He scoops it up. No yards call. Miles now steps outside. Now he will cut back. Jamal Miles is eventually tripped up. He'll add 5 yards to that on the no yards. And Darius Bowman, the Edmonton Eskimo offense needing to get it done. Jonathan Crompton looks like he's coming in the ballgame. Well, you saw Jamal Miles struggle on that last return. In fact, the ball actually touched him as he slipped here. There was a flag on the play, no yards, but that was a live football.
Yes, it was. Chip Cox was trying to get to it. I think he was the one called for the no yards.
All right, Jonathan Crompton, it's your turn now. Can you change the Eskimos' fortunes? And almost a pick, and if it was, it would have been a pick 6 for Jeff Tisdale.
That was going the other way in a heartbeat. And that's just lack of timing between receiver and quarterback here. Sitting down there, Darius coming back to the quarterback, quarterback throwing him to the sidelines. You may see a lot of that here in the second half.
Crompton, the former Tennessee Volunteer, coached by Lane Kiffin. This one is complete to Hugh Charles. We hardly mentioned his name as he returns to the lineup. Finally, a little swing pass out of the backfield for the Eskimos. They'll move the sticks.
And Jonathan Crompton played in Week 5 against the Alouettes and he came in the ball game and looked very, very confused and certainly wide-eyed. 1 of 4 that football game, threw an interception. That throw there looks like to me he settled down and looking to take advantage of his second opportunity.
Stays in the pocket again and tosses it to the sideline for Darius Bowman, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Crompton is a 26-year-old, 6 feet 4 inches, out of Asheville, North Carolina. He's a former 5th-round pick of the San Diego Chargers. He spent some time in the NFL, and then, of course, during the labor disruption, was looking for work and ended up here in Edmonton.
Bit of a perfectionist, he told us yesterday.
Yes, he is.
He gets upset with himself even after a touchdown pass if it's not a spiral.
Hugh Charles again on 2nd down. We've seen that a couple times today, and that Montreal defense, ferocious, just swallows them up.
And this time in the run, 2nd in the league, only giving up 85 yards a ball game. Giving up nothing there, forcing a punt. And this has been a lot of talk about the Edmonton Eskimo offensive line. A big group, a very, very large group. I'm talking about 6'11", 6'9", 6'8", just massive human beings up there. And I'd like to see them run the ball more and more effectively. I'm sure Cavis Reed would like that as well.
Bradshaw spiraling kick. Tyron Carrier gathers it in and brings it near the 24-yard line. Nicewander returns to the Commonwealth Stadium turf. Hall of Fame weekend here. This is Nissan, this is our league, and to celebrate its golden anniversary, the Canadian Football Hall of Fame has released a beautiful book celebrating 50 years of memories. The book, 2.5 years in the making, represents all 264 honored members of the Hall, including the man standing next to me. 189 players, 75 builders. You can get your copy today online at cfhof.ca/store. Out of the backfield, S.J. Green. Twirled around by Eric Samuels. Great week to celebrate Canadian football, pro football, and the like here.
Eric Samuels coming from left to right in your picture. Just makes a great play in open space. Recognize it. Trying to run him off. he recognizes, doesn't get fooled, and comes up and makes a great run stop.
Nice wander again. Jerron Carter slipping away. Now puts his hand in the grill of one of the Eskimos. Desperate Edmonton football team right now. Scraping away. Coming into this game 3-10, Matt. Dire need of a win in hopes, dim hopes of crossing over.
And there's another 2 and out by their defense, doing what they need to do. Offense needs to pick it up.
Sean White will let this fly from his 20-yard line. Again, Jamal Miles on his 30. Trying to find an opening. A little cutback. He dances up near the 42-yard line. 31-3 to score here in the Hall of Fame game in Edmonton.
Back at Commonwealth Stadium, where Hall of Fame weekend continues. Down here on the Eskimo sideline, joined by inductee in the Builders category, John Jake Ireland. 30 seasons officiating, 555 games. Proud grandfather of 4 as well.
Yes, and I'd like to say hello to my 4 little grandchildren at home, who I hope are watching tonight. Rio, Matthew, Alexa, and Isla.
I wonder, Jake, did you let your daughters come watch you officiate? Because that must have been tough on them.
Rarely. Occasionally they would come to a Grey Cup game, but not too many games.
What was the toughest stadium in the league as far as fans getting on you?
Well, they're all tough, but Hamilton was the most challenging because the fans were so close. And it was as if you could establish almost a personal relationship with some of them.
Well, Jake, enjoy the applause. I know you didn't get much of it through your career. That's the way it goes for an official, but congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Rod?
Thanks so much, Jake Ireland. Okay, so if Jake's here, who's at CFL Command? Because Jake's always there. Even in retirement, even as a Hall of Famer, Jake, of course, is the guy behind the CFL Command Center and officiates all the replays. And from the young days of Jake Ireland to the older years. And there is the bust of Jake Ireland that will reside at the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in Hamilton.
Yeah, I walked the field yesterday out there with the headset on.
All the inductees with their blazers. And
very humble man, too. 30 years at Stelco, retired there.
Did you give it to him when you were playing?
Give it to him, about 2 inches away. every time I could. He and I had a very close personal relationship over 14 years when I played.
Okay, close and personal, but was it good?
Not really. But it's been since then. I tell you, I went to officiating school back in 06, and a good friend of mine, Don Cousins, is a head linesman in the league. He was my mentor, and I got to know all the officials and a tremendous group of men that really are underappreciated in the CFL. And Jake and I established a relationship. We golf together quite often. Tremendous man.
Marcus Henry will move the sticks again. That's the thing, too. Like, during your career, and you hear that from so many other athletes in so many sports, as they get to know the officials, those people in authoritative positions later, and they realize, you know what, they were just doing their job.
Hey, and I think it should be almost a prerequisite for all football players and coaches to go through that officiating school and have a better appreciation and understanding for what the 7 officials on the field do on a regular basis. I think it would stop a lot of the whining and complaining, and certainly give you a broader and more closer look and perspective of what these guys go through on a regular basis. They do a very difficult job of making it look relatively easy.
Jonathan Crompton's making it look a lot easier right now. He's in some rhythm. This is a second down, short yardage, and time is the enemy right now of the Eskimos. If you're just joining us, down 31-3 after 30 minutes, and Crompton plows forward. He'll get a fresh set of downs. Don't forget, it's doubleheader Saturday here right after this game. We'll go down the road to McMahon Stadium. Charleston Hughes and the Stampeders, Alex Hall and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Live coverage coming up next on TSN.
2 of the best rush ends in the league right there.
2 guys who you'd hate to have to play quarterback against as Crompton goes deep for Fred Stamps. Almost. You almost expect Fred Stamps to come up with it.
Yeah, you look who he's going against, Chip Cox. He's asked to do a lot of things for the Alouettes, and Crompton gives him a chance. Why not? Because, like you said, Rod, he makes things happen. Fred Stamps is so technically sound. Cox getting away with the hold there and a grab. And then a little elbow in the back. Doesn't let Stamps elevate like he normally would. A wily veteran there, Chip Cox, covering a very, very elusive receiver and Stamps and doing a nice job on him.
Jonathan Crompton's 5 of 7 since coming in relief of Mike Riley, who started this game. Here's the rush again. Crompton over the top, in tight coverage. Darius Bowman could not hang on and almost picked off again. Great D from the secondary of the Alouettes, and guess who was right in the middle of it again?
Yeah, Mike Edom on the back end, but Chip Cox is in the space of Crompton, and he forced Crompton to throw it off his back foot, and he couldn't get there with enough timing and smoke on it, and gave Edom a chance to get over the top.
Mike Edom saved a touchdown.
Yeah, threes aren't going to do it for the Edmonton Eskimos here in a 3rd and 10.
So they're going for it. Down a lot. Down a ton here. Need a first down. Crompton decides to run, or does he? Goes against the grain, and that's thrown up to no one in particular. Shamon Chambers and Fred Stamps in the vicinity, but nowhere near the football. Turnover on downs now. And the struggles continue for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, and you watch Chip Cox. He's coming off the edge here. He kind of forces things up the middle with Kyrie Zabear. He's on the run, and then Crompton does this. Something you know you're not supposed to do as a quarterback from grade school. And then watch Kavis read. Read some lips here. What are you doing? Kerry Joseph can't believe it. Crompton's got his hat off. Joseph was the only one on the sidelines a little while ago with his helmet on. If you're not going to concede and you don't want to proceed to your fan base, you're not conceding. I think Joseph gives you the best chance to win here. Tap into his experience and see if you can't get in this ball game.
I was going to ask you, is at some point, I mean, it's almost Death Valley here now for the Eskimos. Down 28. No lead is insurmountable or safe in this league, but the Eskimos are going to have to put points on the board. And this guy seems like the logical, experienced pivot to bring into the fray right now.
He got 2 reps all week, and but I believe he does. Nothing against Jonathan Crompton.
No,
he's just not ready yet to claw back into this football game. Joseph is the best chance to win right now.
Nice one. Oh, nice catch, Delorier. And it is the most important game of the season. This is a playoff game for the Edmonton Eskimos. You just can't throw the white flag up here.
Not now. Kavis Reed talked about it during the course of the week, saying, you don't want to concede anything at this point. And if you do start conceding when there's still a mathematical chance for your football team to advance into the playoffs, then you're in the wrong business. Not that they're conceding with the young Crompton, but I think Joseph gives you the best chance moving forward here in the second half.
His pedigree would suggest that. There was a lot of movement at the line. Harry Joseph, keep in mind, the day after his 40th birthday, is a former most outstanding player in this league, a Grey Cup champion, has been there and done that.
He's limbering up on the sidelines, too. He's getting his legs loose. He's always ready to go.
And
phenomenal
came in relief last week, of course, in that loss to the Eskimos. Or to the Argos, rather.
Offside. Edmonton, number 91. 5-yard penalty remaining, first down.
Yeah, and I know that Kavis has got a lot on his plate. He wants to win football games, but he's also thinking about next year and getting a guy quality reps to see whether or not he's the next guy up. But Rod, playing with the lack of experience that Crompton has, coming in this situation, it's like going to a foreign country, not speaking the language, and trying to negotiate some type of business deal. It's just not going to happen for you.
It doesn't happen that quickly, certainly in this league. How long is taken? Nice wander. Jerome Messam. Jerome Messam said that he's had this date circled on his calendar. General Manager Ed Hervey. It has been a baptism under fire for sure. First year GM.
It has. I love his heart. I love what he's trying to accomplish, and I think he's made a lot of right strides in the right direction. But yeah, nobody's perfect. You're going to make errors along the way. But this guy, I think, is on the right track with this football team, because although they're 3-10, their locker room is still intact, and they've got the right character there.
Nice one, her hands again to Messam. Well, maybe what we're seeing here is exactly what Ed Hervey's talked about. He said that he will never give up the process of building. He said not rebuilding, building for the future. And maybe that's part and parcel of some of the decisions that have been made this season.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's not Kavis Reed's choices who the next guy in is. And perfect example is Jonathan Crompton is in there because that man right there wants him to be.
Well, Crompton has the baseball cap on. And false start again with flags flying.
Josh Bork's had a whale of a football game, keeping his young quarterback clean.
Procedure, Montreal, number 59. 5-yard penalty, remaining second down.
There haven't been too many blemishes for the Alouettes today, and one of the few things that they have to clean up. Both of these teams are the two most penalized teams in the CFL, and that's been an issue, procedure calls. And I don't have to tell you, as a former quarterback, when you're a young quarterback, that could be some of the things that happen with cadence and the procedure and time count calls.
You got it exactly right, Rob. Often happens.
More procedure calls than any other team. Under 5 to go here, third quarter.
You go from 2nd and 3 to 2nd and 8, and then that happens, and that's frustrating. I don't care if you're 9 and 5 or if you're 5 and 8. It's frustrating when you go backwards and shoot yourself in the foot. The Eskimos have been all about that today.
Kerry Joseph put the helmet back on the bench. Is he going to be the guy who goes back in? Looks like he's warming up. I think it's Kerry Joseph now. Funny thing about Joseph, he doesn't toss on the sideline. He doesn't throw. Did it last week. He just goes right back in.
He's a rare breed. This guy is a specimen at 40 years old. Carved out a fantastic career. And doesn't surprise me he doesn't need to throw. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Well, hang on here. Crompton maybe too. No, it's Jonathan Crompton coming out. The mystery continues. Well, Kerry Joseph put his helmet on, but he's not going in. Jonathan Crompton is coming back in for at least another series here.
Kerry's giving him some tips and imparting some wisdom to the young quarterback. Get him on track. The guy's very humble, won't say anything bad about anybody. Very frustrated with the situation because he feels, as any competitor would, that he can make a difference.
Well, Crompton did have the Eskimos moving in that last series, but then stalled. Turnover on downs. Crompton now. It's around the corner, but then is dropped at the 31-yard line. John Bowman with another sack as he continues to be the Alouettes' all-time leading sack leader.
69 on his career there. He's one away from Anwar Stewart, who's #1 in active players right now, chasing his good friend. Talked to him before the ball game. I said, "You got 68." He says, "Well, it just means I'm getting old."
2nd down, 13. Crompton. Slant pattern for Nate Kuhorn. Hit hard by Mike Edom, a former Dino meets Dino there. Kuhorn brings it to the midfield stripe.
A strong throw from Crompton. Hey, kid's got all the parts. He's got all the tools. It just takes time. Where right now the Eskimos have 18.5 minutes of time to deal with. And if you're just learning the game, it's going to be hard-pressed for the young man to put up 29 points to tie this football game. But you see he's got a strong arm. He's got great size, composure, first-year player from Tennessee. They're going to have to go hurry up here because time clock is going to be their nemesis at this point.
Yeah, they're getting a bit of a break here because John Bowman is banged up as they look near the knee area, the calf, cramp perhaps. Try to get that worked out, so a bit of a break here for the Eskimos as they plot their strategy. Strategy here is to get a lot of points in a hurry. John Bowman, you mentioned the 69 career sacks. Anwar Stewart with 70. Here's our sack attack brought to you by Purelator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check, and we move closer to almost 900,000 pounds in food going to local food shelters across Canada.
Hey, talk about Bowman. 7 straight season with 7+ sacks. The only guy that's been able to do it, well, there's been 6 guys who've done that before. The guy that's done it the longest and most consecutive years in a row with 7+ sacks. Bobby Jurison did it for 11 years. Sack master. That guy has been phenomenal over the course of his career, and he's in pain. People, we talk about cramps often, and if you never cramped, he's got 2 cramps in his legs right now, and he's struggling to get off the football field.
Saw Corey Sheets last night, Saskatchewan Roughriders in BC.
Oh, yeah.
Started cramping up.
Oh, yeah, he did the stilt walk off the field. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happened to Jonathan. And at this point, there's nothing you can really do because you can't rehydrate that quickly.
3.5 to go in this third quarter. Jonathan Crompton in relief of Mike Riley, who started the game week after suffering a concussion against the Argos. Turnovers costly in the first half. Eskimos were down 31-3. Crompton gets buried and throws it up, and he's now picked off. Jeff Tisdale has his 22nd career interception.
His 5th of the season. And there's a guy that his teammate Gerald Brown says doesn't get enough credit. Off the edge, watch Kyrie Sabear. Here he comes. Says hello to Jonathan Crompton. He's got to throw it. And then watch Tisdale on the bottom of your screen, right by the sticks. He's the beneficiary of Kyrie Sabear, the Angry Bird, getting to Crompton, having to throw it too soon. Easy pick, 5th on the season for Jeff Tisdale out of Pittsburgh State.
There's collision.
3 interceptions for the Alouettes secondary in this game. Eskimos struggling mightily. Nice one. They're looking for a kill shot there, and Ted Laurent is able to bring him down. A flag comes down as Laurent took his helmet off as well.
Put that back on.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Edmonton 94. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
He's got his big paw up and a nice Wander's face mask, and that's going to get called every time. He can't touch any part of the head on a quarterback, even after the ball's out. Coming inside. Tough block. Gets a little help. He keeps pushing, and then he just grabs the face mask and swats him.
Swatted it away, and then Laurent took his helmet off.
That's a penalty even itself.
Yes, it is.
You got to keep it buckled up out there when you're between the lines. And I don't know if we got a break there. I think the Eskimos got a break there because that's a penalty in itself. You're going to attack down more yards.
1st and 10 to go the Alouettes from their 45-yard line. Cruise control so far today for the Alouettes offense. There's the pitch to Messam, the former Eskimo.
He's running over everybody, including his own teammate. Little power sweep there. Get everybody out on board. You got a bunch formation coming to the sidelines. Jerome Messam, who I told you earlier is a north-south runner, does a pretty nice job of getting to the corner and getting north-south, and runs over some of his own guys to pick up extra yardage.
Said he was looking forward to this game again since his days in Edmonton a couple seasons ago. Almost outstanding Canadian, and then of course tried his luck in the National Football League, came back to Edmonton, wasn't quite the same player, and was banged up.
Yeah, played injured.
Yeah, doesn't have the yards per carry that he did when he was with the Eskimos, but clearly he is a force. Boy, tight coverage as Nice Wander threads the needle for Brandon London.
I think it was just London's long arms that made that completion. And good on Brandon, stepping up here today, having a good day. Like you mentioned, right, 3 drops last week. Halffield right here. He's going to sit right in that spot there. And just watch him stick out his long arms. Man's right on him. Doesn't run around, just sits down. I think right in front of T.J. Hill, veteran linebacker. I think there's more the spot and location of the throw than it was anything.
Former UMass product, played in the National Football League. On the Super Bowl champion New York Giants when they beat New England and ended their perfect season.
See, that's the Jerome Messam that I know and love. 6'3", 245 pounds, downhill, and getting some big yards for you. Having a good game. Only averaging 34 yards a game this year. He's at 70, I believe, right now. Big boy moving the chain, or getting big yardage against his old teammates. And he's healthy. He's able to do it healthy, Rod, and that's a big difference.
Big time. 2nd and 5. Nice wander to the air. And that time his throw was altered as he gets pasted in the backfield. Amondo Sewell got to him, but no sack. The ball was thrown away, and again, the Alouettes will kick it away.
Yeah, it looks like Sewell had him low, too. Oftentimes, that'll be a penalty. They're really cracking down on what you can and can't do to a quarterback. Sewell, 6 sacks on the season, looking for his 7th. Got there just a little bit late, but enough interference to certainly disrupt Nicewinder from throwing it where he wanted to.
Jamal Wiles sits back at his 10-yard line. Sean White lets it go from his 50. Miles, an electrifying return to end the first half. No return this time. Great kick by Sean White, but there's a penalty flag back at the 42-yard line.
That was a location punt right there, done well by Sean White. Goes out at the 7-yard line. It looks like it's going to be on Edmonton. Take it back down to the 3.5-yard line. So there you go, Jonathan. You don't speak the language. You don't have the experience. We know you got all the parts. Go out there and bring us back 29
Holding.
15 minutes to go.
Edmonton, number 44. Half the distance to goal. First down. 1 play remaining.
So they will not end this play, end this quarter on that play. So it goes back to the 3-yard line. Long field. And here comes Crompton again and company.
You know, and here's the thing that's probably saving Jonathan Crompton now, besides his just love of the game and certainly the abilities, is he doesn't know any different. He loves the fact that he's got a chance to go out there and compete.
Make no mistake, Mike Riley is the quarterback of the future here for the Edmonton Eskimos. He's shown that this season so far. And
here we go. We got to get it called.
It's been such a time of turmoil at that position for the Eskimos ever since they traded away Ricky Ray. And some continuity as Crompton goes deep. What a strong arm, but he throws it underneath and it's picked off. Too strong. Gerald Brown has another pick and he's down the sideline. And the 4th interception of the day. 2 from Gerald Brown, who really got this whole thing started. The party started for the Alouettes in the first quarter. It's been the Alouettes defense, and their captain is this guy, number 11, Chip Cox. Perennial all-star, might be the defensive player of the year, doing it again. 3 quarters complete here. Hall of Fame weekend. The Owls sitting pretty. Well, it was called the biggest game of the season for the Edmonton Eskimos. They have provided very little resistance to the Montreal Alouettes, who are on a roll right now. After that win over Saskatchewan, Josh Nicewinder has protected the ball nicely today. The Eskimos, quite simply, have not 5 turnovers, 4 picks. And it does not look good for Edmonton's chances of crossing over. Beyond all that, Mr. Hall of Fame, how has this week?
Not Mr. Hall of Fame.
How has this week been? Getting to reminisce with some of your old teammates and being part of this.
Rod, first of all, you know, you talk about the city of Edmonton, and when you come in here, you got the City of Champions sign. Well, the teams may not reflect that at this point, but the fan base and the people of this province and certainly this city continue to earn that badge of City of Champions. Fabulous job all week long of rolling out the red carpet for the deserving Hall of Fame inductees. It's been an absolutely phenomenal experience, not only for myself, but for the guys going to the Hall of Fame. Just overwhelmed with the process and the events that have been unfolded by the Edmonton Eskimo franchise.
Shovel pass incomplete. Let's go down to Ryan Rishaug on the sideline once again.
Guys, things are getting extremely heated on this Eskimo sideline. The frustration is boiling over after that last interception. Crompton was having a chat with head coach Kavis Reed a few feet away at Darius Bowman, absolutely screaming at the top of his lungs at Crompton to throw the under route. It was so heated that Mike Riley came over, put his arm around Bowman and walked him away. So the frustration clearly boiling over in a 32-3 football game.
Yes, and a team that's 3-10 and on its last gasps of air on the season. Nice wander, going for the end zone. In trouble though, Arland Bruce, did he catch that? Yes, he did. What a catch. Touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Talk about his strong arms and how he reminds me so much of Hall of Famer Earl Winfield, and he proves it right here. As a quarterback, that's all you can ask for is I give you a chance, go up there and bring it down. And if you don't, nobody else is. Arland Bruce made sure that was the case. Go get it at its highest point. Give your receiver a chance. That's what Nicewinder does, throws his 4th touchdown pass against a very solid corner, Eric Samuels. And go get it at highest. Watch him strong hand this. Now they're fighting for it right here, and he's not going to be denied.
You know what's crazy? He had the ball at first, then he kind of lost the ball on the way down, then he had it again, and that is why Arland Bruce's name, when the Hall comes around, will be mentioned.
Yeah, he's phenomenal talent, and reminds me of Winfield. You know, Winfield's last year in the CFL, his 11th season, he led the league in reception yardage. True testament. This guy right there continues to perform no matter what uniform he's wearing. Phenomenal catch, showing you his strong arm, his athletic, strong hands, and athletic ability. Even his teammates, Eric Delorier, give him some love.
Well, if there of course is a review. That ball, well, yeah, it looks like it.
Samuels can't believe it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Nor can anybody else.
I'm 6'2". You're 5'11", maybe.
Yeah.
And you go up and bring this down after I got my mitt right there.
Maybe the only question might be right there where we can't see it. Did the ball actually come down and hit the turf? But from our vantage point, here's maybe a good look to see if it.
Be able to see it here either.
Let's see, there it comes around. No, we're not going to see that there. They may not have anything conclusive. We are not worthy. Here it is again. Maybe this is the best view.
He goes and skies for it, get the highest point. Now right there is the point of contact. I see it underneath his arm. I don't think it ever touches the ground.
I think he's got it.
I think it's a touchdown. And he asked earlier, you know, if Jake's here, who's in the video review booth? I think it's Alma Coleman. Long-time official, well-respected, certainly.
After review, the movement on the field stands. It is a touchdown.
Yeah. Arland Bruce, he on plays of the week, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Skying, going and getting it. Fundamentally sound, certainly strong, productive. Arland Bruce.
He is a guy who I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions through the years.
He brought some of them on himself.
When he went, the touchdown celebrations with the masks and that. But he is a bit of an entertainer, but also
nothing wrong with that.
One of the things that Jim Pop and the rest of the Alouettes will tell you is that no one works harder in practice or comes more professionally to practice than this guy. You know what? Practice makes perfect. What a catch. Heisman Trophy winner. Congratulates the All-Star, Arland Bruce. 2 scores today, 92 on his career.
I'm glad you said that's in the huddle, too. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Obviously, he and Josh Nicewinder are on the same page right now.
Yeah, you think?
And this has become a beatdown. Jamal Miles stretching it outside, and there is an illegal block. This is going to come back. Flags everywhere. Jamal Miles, another good return, but that's the kind of day it's been for the Eskimos.
Chief Cox.
Well, you saw Arland Bruce, and we saw so many great Arland Bruce-like catches from this man who is with Ryan Rishaug.
Thank you very much, Rod, alongside Earl Winfield, inducted into the Hall of Fame this week. 1993, You returned 2 punts for touchdowns here in Edmonton. How often do you get asked about that?
Quite often, you know, highlights of the career. It was a great time. I always like coming to Edmonton and play. The stadium is awesome. I hadn't been back in quite a while, and just looking around at it, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. I always love playing here.
Is there a highlight of this week for you?
Just being inducted into the Hall of Fame and going down as one of the all-time Canadian football greats. I'm very humbled about it, and it's really been a great time for me and my family.
Earl, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Guys?
Earl the Pearl. For those of us who were around watching him, he was absolutely amazing.
Just watch this back here that we're showing. Oftentimes, he was a man amongst boys, just slapping people out of the way, running through arm tackles. Powerful receiver, explosive in the return game, and certainly receiver. 87 total touchdown passes or touchdowns over the course of his 11-year career. My highlight of the week with Earl was shutting down the hospitality suite a couple of nights ago about 4 o'clock in the morning.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
You surprised me.
Oh, come on, Rod. You would have been right there.
Only 4?
Yeah.
I would have been, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? What great stories you must have had. And isn't it appropriate that on a day they salute a guy who wore number 1, that a guy who wears number 1, who has 92 career touchdowns now, has had a big game, and that's Arland Bruce.
I think they're one and the same, just a couple of decades apart, a decade and a half apart. Just phenomenal receivers, very powerful, strong in the football, quick, elusive, break tackles, determination. True essence of professionals, both of these receivers.
Grant Shaw, as the flame flickers here on the Eskimos' hopes for a postseason berth. 39-3 the score. Again later today is Calgary, Winnipeg. Don't forget TSN is also the home of NFL Sunday Night Football. Houston Texans,
that was Warren Moon.
San Francisco taking on Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers. Warren Moon.
He had a pretty good career
Another
here.
number 1.
Yeah, he had a pretty good career down there.
Yes, he did.
That guy lit it up wherever he was at.
All-time leading pro.
I charted
passer.
501 of his passes in 1983. I cheered him on like a cheerleader, like these girls here out here. I had pom-poms going for Warren. He was so good.
Troy Smith into the game now, getting some reps. You know, Warren Moon, not only a great quarterback, but as Josh Nicewander puts a bow on this day, this is a day he's going to remember for quite some time.
I think this is a day where he said, you know what, I got this. The last 3 weeks have indicated that. Coming to this ball game, he threw 65% completion percentage. He had no interceptions over the course of 2 weeks. He's upped his quarterback rating well over 100 now. Yeah, it's 4 more touchdown passes to it. Very composed, relaxed, and comfortable in this offense now. And an offense, I can tell you, they changed over the last couple of weeks.
There goes Arland Bruce again. You know, he did throw up the 1 interception. The funny thing that, you know, when a day goes right for you is Chris Thompson gets the pick, but then they fumble the football, and it was kind of one of those turning points as well, because the Alouettes continued to march from there, and we get to see a lot of Troy Smith now in the final moments of this one.
And it was, go back to the first drive of the Edmonton Eskimos. They're driving the football down the field, then they have an illegal substitution, puts them back in 1st and 20, throw an incomplete pass, and then they throw it underneath, and then they miss a field goal, and it kind of goes wrong from there.
Second short yardage. You know, you're so right, Matty. You've been in so many games where, you know, people can always say it's not the start, it's how you finish.
That's not true.
But, you know, look at the starts and how it's affected both of these teams this season. And Edmonton gets off to a lousy start. Montreal finally gets off to a good start, and it's propelled them. They've never looked back since that 14-0 lead.
Oftentimes, this game lends itself to tremendous finishes because of the 3-minute clock and how it's handled. But you play 60 minutes, and the coaches will go back and look at the video, and I guarantee you, those 2 guys right there will go back and analyze it. Kerry Joseph will look at it, and they'll correct it for 60 minutes. And that first drive shot the Eskimos in the foot, and it's carried over into everything they've done today.
Troy Smith is rolled over by T.J. Hill, who comes up swinging wildly. Troy Smith threw the football, and then Hill rolled over on him, and either something was said or something happened as Hill was on top of Smith.
Yeah, exactly. I think Troy took exception to how he was handled, and then he kind of got up a little aggressively on TJ Hill, and TJ doesn't like it. But as a linebacker, he's a little undersized against that quarterback, Troy Smith.
TJ Hill, who used to wear Montreal Alouette colors, of course. You said it earlier, we have not mentioned his name or J.C. Sherritt's or Damaso Munoz quite enough.
His frustration's coming out right now. And he should be frustrated because defensively they've been getting it handed to him all afternoon.
Arlan Bruce and Deron Carter are the wideouts this time. 2nd and 10. Troy Smith sending them out again. Here come the Eskimos. There goes the football. Smith, a bullet, and into coverage. Was again looking for Eric Delorier, unable to come up with it.
And well covered by Marcel Young. And I think, it might have been Chris Thompson. Right here, just a seam, running the seam, running go route, getting outside. Watch how he kind of plays and undercuts that Eric Delorier does. That's Chris Thompson getting his left hand back on it because Delorier is trying to come back underneath. Well played, Chris Thompson.
Sean White will look to pin the Eskimos again. Clock ticks under 11 minutes to go here. It has been a thorough demolition by the Alouettes. And this is into the end zone for another single point. And they put up 40 now.
Right hand.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos season almost done here. Hoping for a crossover. Needed a big win here against the Alouettes. The way to cross over, as the Eskimos did last year for the first time, is 4th place team in the West has to have a better record than the 3rd place team in the East. It has to be a better record. You cannot tie them. You have to have more points.
Procedure. Edmonton number 68.
This was a critical one today.
Penalty remains first down.
Yes, Edmonton will move to 3-12. Montreal moving to 6-8, staying in contact with Hamilton and Toronto. Oh, look at this, Rod.
Yeah, halftime last week when they were sailing against the Argos and had a 21-point lead, and have been unraveling since. Compton again. Shamad Chambers, and there are a lot of bright lights here, and somewhere down the road, Eskimo fans and Ed Hervey and the rest and this organization, they look at this time as growing pains and going through it, and you got young stars like Shamad Chambers, but at the same time, here was a day today, is still a chance as you're still building that you may have come up with what would have been a much better effort than they've shown.
Yeah, a lot of the pieces are in place. I credit Ed Hervey for doing that. You look at Marcus Henry, Shamad Chambers, you got Freddie Stamps, you got Darius Bowman, Nate Cohorn. That's a formidable receiving corps that any quarterback would like a chance to throw to. And they're just not able to get it done because they can't get out of the way of themselves, putting themselves in tough spots offensively.
Maybe the most telling stat of all, Matt, is the stat that really shows your inexperience, is that close game stat where the Eskimos are 1-10. Now, this is not a close game, clearly, but when you're unable to win close games, that often points to inexperience.
Yeah, it's just 4 points and less since 2012, going 1-10 in those games. You got to learn how to win those.
And you can't win those runs you're in. How can you win these ones?
That was a nice timing throw by the young quarterback, showing you a strong arm, spotting it in there to Fred Stamps. Stamps, who's having a career year as far as yardage goes, continues to find a way to get it done no matter who's quarterback. Kind of reminds me of a couple guys that back in the studio. Milt Stegel and Jack Klein.
Calvin McCarty gets a touch here. After this, the Alouettes, they're in a fight as well to try to host a playoff game, which they usually do, and it's been quite some time since they did not host a playoff game. In fact, 2007. They have put themselves right back in, and Shamad Chambers into the end zone for a touchdown, but a penalty flag back at the 20-yard line. Don't celebrate yet, young man.
Oh, beautiful play. Tremendous throw. Knifed in there with timing. Touchdown, Edmonton Eskimos. Shamad Chambers showing his strength and his explosiveness.
Pass interference. Montreal, number 12. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Okay, now you can celebrate.
Yeah.
Shamad Chambers.
You know, you got to start somewhere. At a 9-minute mark in the fourth quarter, the Eskimos get their first major. Shamad Chambers, that youth you're talking about, Rod, flexing his muscles, showing his strength and ability, finds the end zone.
First major score, but way too late here. And long hill to climb. Jonathan Crompton with a touchdown toss. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. Shamad Chambers finds the end zone. Touchdown from Jonathan Crompton. The Eskimos had a little bit of that in that first half. This could be an entirely different game right now, but they were blanked from the end zone. 40-10 Montreal.
I believe that Montreal did what they had to do, come in here and put it on them early, keeping themselves in contention for the Eastern Division race. They're still a factor there, big time.
Ball bounces out of bounds. Here are the standings
Illegal
as
kickoff.
they are.
Edmonton, number 11.
8:47 to go. We will not give the Alouettes the win yet, but at 5-8 they go to 6.
I will.
Okay, go.
I'll give it to them right there.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
6-8.
They stay within striking distance of Hamilton, who's at 7-7, and the next 4 weeks are against Winnipeg, Hamilton, Toronto. All Eastern Division opponents, all 4-point games. This whole division can change over the next 4 weeks.
When I sat down with Jim Popp yesterday, we talked about that. As crazy as a year that he's ever experienced with the Montreal Alouettes. So many adverse situations. A star Hall of Fame quarterback who gets knocked out. He says his team still has an opportunity to gather some steam, still host a playoff game, which is a goal. And as you know, once you get into the playoffs, anybody's ball game.
Absolutely. And if you can start getting healthy, get some guys back, then it makes it even more explosive and increases your chances. And you look at the parts with Montreal, they're in place. Hamilton, they're all there. They're starting to get healthy. Toronto, who knows? Ray will be back. They've been doing quite nicely with Zach Collaros. Anything else?
The West wide open. The thing about the Alouettes, too, is as today they showed some offensive prowess under Josh Nicewander. Clearly moving forward the next few weeks, it's Josh's team. This is a team that has been led and kept in by one of the best defenses still in the Canadian football.
That's right. They've leaned on him, and certainly Josh and company offensively, they recognized that. They went out there and did their job today. All veteran receivers. Brandon London picked up his game. Bruce did his thing. Certainly S.J. Green did his thing.
5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and then getting the points, because the Alouettes in the past have also forced a lot of turnovers, just have not been able to get points off turnovers. Things are changing now. Momentum swinging their way.
And offensively, they changed their system 2 weeks ago. they completely got rid of the play calling system and terminology. Jim Pop insisted on it and says, guys, set your egos aside. This is what we're doing. We're going to the numbering system. It's going to be easier for us to plug and play players, and it seems like it's transferring over to success on the football field.
Second down here. Here come the Eskimos. Troy Smith over the top. S.J. Green was the intended target, and they'll have to kick. Can you give me a quick Matt's notes on the numbering system? You were kind of telling me before the game how much easier it is to call the plays. As we know in football, they can be quite complicated.
Absolutely. With the 20-second clock, you're limited, and you really can't do what Mark Trestman did for 5 years, and he did it well. So I'm kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth there when I say that. They got it done. But when you have a lot of changeover and you don't have AC back in the lineup, your numbering system allows everybody to just memorize a pattern tree. You call plays inside out from the strength of the field, which is to your right. If you're on the left hash, inside out, and then go to the boundary inside out. Now, I know I'm speaking gibberish to the fans out there, but it's real simple. As opposed to going from right to left across each player and telling them exactly what they do with a lot of terminology, you put a number to it and you go inside out from right to left and you call it like this. Here you go, 3-2, Rip Liz, red, 6'11", 84 on 2-on-2, and you get out of the huddle.
After the play, unnecessary roughness. Montreal, number 52. 15 yards, first down.
So basically that play is you're running a corner with 2 hitches and an 84 in the backside, which is a going and out, and you read it out. And there's no extensions off of plays for these or routes for these guys anymore. They call a route, you run the route. No lack of communication. Quarterback always knows where the receiver's going to be. That simplified things for them, and it shows.
Sometimes simple makes it easier.
Did that make any sense?
I didn't understand all the numbers in that, but I get the idea is that if you tell me that I'm the 6.
Yeah, you're running the 6, and there's no conversions.
Well, it's worked for Josh Nicewander, and I'm sure the Eskimos probably had to simplify things again with young quarterbacks this year.
And that's hard to do at this time of year because usually you're making extensions to your offense, not simplifying it. Wow, man.
Crompton wants to go for it all here. Fred Stamps, way overthrown. Jonathan Crompton has a gun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got to make sure that a guy's around it, and Fred Stamps wanted an interference call here.
Freddie Stamps and Gerald Brown hooking up right there. Brown just grabs some of the cloth there, gets away with one. Stymies the rhythm and certainly timing. Freddie Stamps can't believe it. Jonathan Crompton's going, come on, give us
30-point lead for the Alouettes. Eskimos just could not get untracked offensively in the first half. That's why they face this huge deficit. Season on the line. Nate Kuhorn looked like he almost got clotheslined, and Jonathan Crompton got dusted, and they'll keep the drive alive here, roughing the quarterback.
Don't go over there. That guy right there, Jeff Tisdale's having a whale of a season.
Major foul, roughing a passer. Montreal, number 34. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Angry Bird flew a little too close.
Yeah, this is pressure. Hitting his face, untouched. He went low, which is a good thing, but he hit him late. And then here's Tisdale. He's got position there. He let his area is defending the area outside. He never left it there. The pressure forced the quarterback to throw it where he didn't want to or shouldn't have.
Crompton. It goes over the top. Kuhorn one-hands it. Nate Kuhorn almost close to his first touchdown of the season. Nice grab by Kuhorn.
A little too late here for the Edmonton Eskimos, but making it up on the fly.
Good job by Jonathan Crompton out of the pocket as well. We see some of that skill.
Yeah, making things happen. He steps up, makes Kyrie Zaber miss. He's got a man in his face, Jonathan Bowman. And Kuhorn, he takes it downfield before he's stymied by Marco Briette.
Crompton.
There you go.
And another touchdown. Make it 2 for the kid from Markham. Shamad Chambers.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, you got 4:30 left. What do you think, Rod?
I told you not to put that 6 on that board.
No, don't even go there.
You know something? We did that once before a few years ago.
Yeah, and it came back
sooner.
to haunt you.
Exactly. Calgary and Winnipeg. It seemed like it was insurmountable. Do you want to maybe, is it a dry erase marker? Can you bring that win back in?
No, I'm sticking with it.
4.5. I mean, still.
Hey, and that was on Tisdale. Hey, good on the young quarterback going after one of the best in the league, Jeff Tisdale.
3 touchdowns, had a couple of 2-point converts. He got a lot of onside kick help, but.
All right, hey, I'm not betting against the Edmonton Eskimos or what can happen in this league.
But again, this is late game heroics coming in. Shamon Chambers has his second score of the day, 4 on the season.
Maybe they can do what happened to them against the Toronto Argonauts. 33 second half points, 23 of those came in the fourth quarter. They're going to need exactly 23 to get in this ball game.
We'll send you down the road to Calgary after this. The Stampeders and Blue Bombers getting ready to tangle.
That's scary right there. Could you imagine those two together?
In an octagon?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 2 of the guys who make life miserable for quarterbacks. Well, they didn't do the onside kick last time. They decided to kick it deep, but I have a feeling with a hands team out for Montreal that might happen now. Again, 4.5 minutes.
Well,
Eskimos making it a little more respectable because, quite frankly, before these last 2 touchdowns, this was a whitewash.
Yeah, the party was happening out in the parking lot.
Well, they decide to pooch this kick. Caught on the far sideline by S.J. Green out there.
He got his return on.
Yes, he did.
He's feeling that one. Look at him.
So Troy Smith will come out again and finish this one off. Just to put a capper, though, on the Hall of Fame week.
Yeah.
You didn't play this game to become a Hall of Famer. You played because you loved it. And there's so many of those people that you see. What does it mean, though, when people do say to you, hey, Hall of Famer?
You need to tap on the shoulder and say, hey, welcome to a very, very hallowed ground. Where only 189 football players are in, 75 builders. It's an overwhelming experience, and it really culminates on this weekend. Edmonton did a whale of a job hosting it in the Hall of Fame. Certainly grateful. There we go.
There's a pick. You got to be kidding.
We're not.
So Burnett's first of the season, and it's down inside the 10-yard line. Okay, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I'm just saying. Just saying. So you never know what can happen in garbage time.
Well, maybe I need to say that earlier.
But again, I'm sure the Eskimo fans don't need to hear this, but I'm sure they're saying, where was this in the first half?
A couple weeks ago, I'm in Saskatchewan, and I said the Saskatchewan fans are pulling hamstrings trying to get back in the stadium because they made a late run, and that could be happening a little bit with the Edmonton Eskimos listening to the game on the way home from the radio, slamming it in reverse and trying to get back here.
Well, Crompton back at the helm again. Burnett's first pick. He had the CFL league leading total last season in 6. That was not a good toss.
No, receiver never got off the ball. It was a good jam on the boundary, and he was trying to throw a fade, but the only thing he had was Shamon Chambers sitting down on the outside and lack of communication. He just told his receiver, knock it off, going on the next one.
Where we've seen the Saskatchewan Rough Riders really excel in this area.
Yeah.
Not so much those fades, but those crosses and using the goalposts.
Yeah, we saw Weston Dressler last night. Darren Durant going to work on a strong defensive unit, the BC Lions, and had a lot of success.
And 2 for Calvin McCarty, and so it will be third down.
You know, it was disrupted display here is Jonathan Bowman, the veteran, who's back in the ball game. I think he gets to Crompton. Top of your screen. People in his face. Here he comes. He's got Kyrie Saber coming in his face. He's got Jonathan Bowman coming behind him. And that time clock in your head's going off. And good thing he got rid of it when he did.
there's any hope for a miracle, it has to happen here. There it is. Fred Stamps. Touchdown.
His 11th on the season.
That is a league-leading 11th touchdown. One ahead of John Cornish. Will play a few moments from now down in Calgary.
One-on-one, backside. Not going to get there if you're Marco Brouillette. Mismatch. Marco Brouillette is one of the most dynamic, well-rounded athletes out there, but he's no match for Fred Stamps.
40-24.
With 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's an eternity here. 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. I might not make my flight. Just saying. You never know in the Canadian Football League. Well, this game went from rout to somewhat interesting
to hold on.
To hold on.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Hang on here.
This is a wait a minute moment.
Yes. If we've been using if a lot here. They can get this onside kick. I don't think they were too serious about the last 2 attempts. This is a lot more serious now.
Yeah. People are starting to pucker down there.
And there it is. And it is caught by the Alouettes. Has to go 10 yards, of course, and Nicolas Boulet is the guy, backup linebacker, special teams player who is able to haul that in. Still 3 minutes to go.
This little pooch. They work on this 24/7 in practice now. These specialists, they make this stuff look easy. That's not easy to do. First-year player from Sherbrooke getting it done there. Knew what he had to do, secure the football.
So here we go, though. The Eskimos force another 2 and out. Alouettes.
Look who's back in the ball game. At quarterback.
Guess what? Troy, take a seat. Josh Nicewander thought he was done for the day. Is back. Nice run here by Terrell Sutton.
Hey, how good is this? He's not down.
He's not down yet.
How about this for Josh Nicewander and what a solid game he's had? Coming to this ball game, we both, I believe, had the sense that he was on a fairly short leash, much like he was last time he got a chance to start. And we're going to see quite a bit of maybe some Troy Smith. And he puts on the performance he did. Here's this play. This is a nice play, but what a run.
Well, a
big hole.
Yeah, it ate up 13 seconds, too, from Terrell Sutton.
And here, he just he never sits down. He just rolls over the top of everybody. His knee or elbow never went down, so he picked up another 7-8 yards there.
Well, what this does, too, is this is an immediate field goal position.
Yep.
Would make it a 3-possession game again. Not too long ago, we were even talking about that. Nicewander wants to take a timeout.
And
timeout, Montreal.
Finishing Nicewander's tremendous day here. Coach feels so comfortable with him now. He puts him back in the ball game to try to seal the deal. Did a lot for himself today, that young man from Angelo State. Josh Nicewander. He's played extremely well, and now he's looking to try to finish this game. Put the dagger in the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, he had to change gears there. I'm sure Josh was probably thinking about, well, Canadian Thanksgiving weekend next weekend. Getting my start against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Taking the spatting off.
Oh, hang on a sec.
Taking the tape off.
I'm back in. Give me my playbook. First and 10. Keeps it on the ground again. And
face mask.
Yeah, looked like a face mask there against Terrell Sutton, so the Eskimos don't help themselves here.
He's feeling that one, too.
We've seen a number of flags.
Trying to get small on the backside cutback and defensive end, squeezing it. Right there, Odell Willis gets his mitts up and gets called for the
major foul. Face mask. Edmonton, half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
15-yarder there on the 25, so they'll take it down. Like you heard Kim Murphy say, half the distance to the goal. That's a big one. This could be that dagger that Nicewander's been looking for. Thought he had.
Well, again, Eskimos put so far out of it a while ago. 40-3 down, now 40-24. He'll just keep it on the ground. Jerome Messel turns back to Edmonton and close to making it a 1st and goal situation now.
Big boy time. Big boys up front. Root them out of there. Edmonton knows going to try to take time off the clock and control the line of scrimmage. And these guys, Borg, Christian Matt, Brodeur, Bombin, Parrott. It's time for them to shine. They've been doing it all day. It's actually Jean. Can you say? Can I say that right?
Jean.
Jean.
Good effort, though.
Yeah, I'm trying.
He is. Jean hasn't been seeing a lot of playing time, but it's 4th quarter.
Timer, please reset the clock to read 2:16. 2:16 on the clock, please.
More seconds on the clock for Edmonton.
But again, even a field goal here virtually ices it for the Alouettes.
Aha. See, now you're on board with me.
Yeah.
Aha.
It wasn't hard to go with that. You know, it wasn't hard to go that way.
No, it wasn't. Very easy for me to put that 6 up there for Montreal 20 minutes ago. Still hadn't figured it out.
Time on the clock should read 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
21.6. So
2:16.
Let's cut into the chase. Maybe you'll make your flight on.
Well, again, not many left here to watch this.
No, they've all gone. I think they come to the realization that their football team's going to slip to 3-11. Oh, that's. I don't recall a season like this for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Quite some time.
Yeah.
Back before the dynasty era in the 70s. They knew they were up against it here.
Fans getting into it.
And again on the ground. Sutton will now go 1st and goal. So
that's a nice run.
This will pretty much wrap it up.
Stymied in the backfield, made a 360 swivel move, and found a little crease, got the 1st down.
I guess the big question here is, you know, if you're an Eskimo fan, and what does the future hold here?
Talking in sit-downs, interviews with Kavis Reed yesterday, he started talking about the future of his career, unsolicited.
Yeah. Said, you know, whether I'm here or not next year, and when you're starting to talk like that, you're obviously questioning it. High snap, and nice one goes down.
Smart play.
You start wondering. I mean, again, you talked about the bookends and the pillars that are here in Edmonton, and they have a formidable defense. Obviously, they got some pieces put in place. They finally, it appears, have some continuity at quarterback moving forward. But they got off to such a horrendous start here, and that's the issue.
Edmonton.
The issue coming to this football game, their mindset was they're not so much worried about the Montreal Alouettes, but themselves. They got in the way of themselves early. They took points off the board, took some silly penalties, stymied any type of momentum. Montreal was quick out of the gate, which they haven't shown.
Yeah.
And they took full advantage of, once again, the Edmonton Eskimos' mistakes.
Here's the other thing for the Alouettes and the Eskimos. The Eskimos have had a miserable time with Montreal through the last couple of seasons. This will be 8 straight losses against the Owls. And Edmonton has only had 3 wins this season against Eastern opponents. 2 of those coming against Winnipeg. And battering in, exclamation point. And there's time on the clock, but this one is now officially in the books. And Terrell Sutton takes it to the house.
Yeah,
he wants to get that football.
He should. It was. Well,
it's a souvenir.
That's the first one. And first-year player from Northwestern. He's shown me a lot here in spot play, spelling for the big man. I mean, what a 1-2 punch that's become. I like it. Jerome Messam, 6'3", 245. And that young guy, Terrell Sutton, about 5'9", 200?
Maybe. And again, no Brandon Whitaker. He's the guy that's that scat back type for the Alouettes.
Oh, you dirty!
Montreal got dirty today. Down and dirty. Took advantage of the Edmonton Eskimo miscues and led by their quarterback, Josh Neiswinder. Solid day for him. Really making a statement game over the last 3 games. Moves to 3-1 as a starter. Big plays by the veteran receivers and tremendous ground game. Defense came up with some key turnovers.
Well, the game plan was written in a race marker early in this game. You could see all the stuff they had to do, and they timed it out perfectly. Beat Edmonton. They might be a little bit over that 16-30, but that was the goal, to come west, get this win, try to eliminate Edmonton's fast-fading hopes for crossing over. And the Alouettes suddenly are going to make it very interesting and put some heat on both the Hamilton Tiger Cats and even the Toronto Argonauts based on what the Argos do down the stretch. 4 games to go after this one. Owls have Winnipeg, then a back-to-back with Hamilton, and finish the season against Toronto. The goal, Jim Popp says, is to get a home playoff date. For the Edmonton Eskimos, again, the season came off the rails like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers early, and their seasons have mirrored each other. Very similar records in many ways, and you know, they have to go through the growing pains. And
who's further ahead, Edmonton or Winnipeg?
Well, you would have to think. I mean, look at the record right now. It's probably a standstill moving ahead to next season. But Edmonton does have Mike Riley.
Edmonton has a quarterback. Definitely do have a quarterback. Not sure if the same can be said for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They're still trying to find one and some consistency and continuity there that's eluded them for a good 4 years.
Which might be good news as well in Winnipeg for fans there, is the fact that that expansion draft is coming up and there could be some names and free agents available based on how it shakes down.
I think they'd be going after somebody with some experience somehow, making a trade with the club. Yeah, the trade deadline's the 8th of this month, 3 days from now. So, you know, if that's going to happen, it's going to happen quickly here.
There's Bear Woods. Troy Polamalu of the CFL makes the tackle on Calvin McCarty.
Yeah, that's quite the hairdo he's got going. He's a very versatile player for Montreal Alouettes. Bear Woods plays linebacker and plays the rush end spot as well.
Jonathan Woods is his name. His grandpa called him Bear at a very young age, and it's stuck.
Let's go the other way. Chip
Cox. Will he have enough? No, he does not. Chip Cox just adds to what has statistically been a season for the ages for Chip Cox.
Spot hanging there, just baiting the young quarterback. Watch him, his drop right here. He's going to push back. Watch him go. Waiting, reading the eyes, knows the guy sitting down, undercuts it, shows you his soft hands. Well, he gets it done. Chip Cox is just a machine back there. Unbelievable. 4 picks, getting close to 100 tackles on the year, 6 sacks. Nice phenomenal.
Says you're not taking my football.
You got nothing to do with this.
Talking with Ronnie James.
Underrated. I mean, we talk about him often, but I just don't think people appreciate how good he is and what he does.
Do you know the thing is,
get out the camera. You don't want to know.
Even Shea Emery last year, you know, nominated for most outstanding defensive player in the East. Chip Cox is, for whatever reason, has always kind of flown under the radar, and he's had seasons like this before. He is. But just not like off the charts.
Yeah. Well, well-rounded game for the Montreal Alouettes on the road here, keeping pace with Hamilton Tiger Cats in a win this week, and big 4 weeks coming up with that franchise.
Well, they said the goal was to beat Edmonton. Time will tick down here, and that's what they did. They buried the Eskimos and their crossover hopes. Suddenly, the Montreal Alouettes are a team to talk about in the CFL East. Who would have thunk that a few weeks ago? Josh Nicewander comes in and has a great day. So did the Alouettes. They run all over the Edmonton Eskimos. The final here, 47-24. Hall of Fame weekend in Edmonton. Back to the studio.